This podcast contains explicit content.
You are listening to Hardly Focused.
Let's begin the show by starting it.
Hello and welcome to the old podcast. We're Hardly Focused, Jack Gill, Chris Froman. You can find us at hardlyfocused.com and on your favorite podcast app and on the YouTube at hardlyfocused.com/YouTube. We're on all of the apps. We're on all the places. Just search them for Hardly Focused. It is Mr. Froman's first time in almost 6 months joining us here on the podcast. I'm very happy that you're here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought it was sooner, but once again, yeah, time flies, man.
I like it. You say, "Oh yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, okay." Well, kick it off with this. If I were to ask you this question, would you have an answer to it?
I mean, I can give any answer, but is it a good answer?
Okay. Well, that was the question, and that was an answer. So thank you.
Well, cool. Shit. Well, damn. All right. Well,
awesome. Well,
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you for listening, everyone. We'll talk at you next time. See ya. Bye.
Goodbye.
No. Commercials, television commercials from the 1990s. Are there any that stick out in your mind? Like I say that, if I say 90s television commercials, are there any that just immediately come to mind?
Well, there's the one that makes me go on a murderous rampage because it was part of the whole MK Ultra project. So if you replay that one, I believe it's the Ecto Cooler High C. I'm gonna, I might have to just, flip the table over and, head towards JFK's residence, and I don't know.
Jesus. Is it just because they played it so much, or is it because you can't get it anymore?
I was just implying that some MK Ultra shit was going on with kids in the 90s or whatever.
MK,
not actually factually based at all.
Hold on, MK Ultra, like the game,
like the government mind control project.
What?
MK Ultra. That's why I was like, I'm gonna have to, Oh gosh.
You and I are clearly on two different versions of the internet here.
All right. Well, for real though, in terms of 90s not cartoons, 90s commercials, man. I mean, there were some that it was the age of handheld toys, action figures. I mean, they were around beforehand, but dude, Ninja Turtles, man, those guys were wrecking the scene at the time. What else they got? Jeez, Power Rangers, obviously a close second. I was serious about for whatever reason, the first thing maybe not the first thing, but one of the first things that pops in my head is the High C commercial with the Ecto Cooler stuff from Ghostbusters. It's a Slimer dude.
Okay.
Any other ones that really come to mind? I mean, there was there's so many. Some of the old video game ones, of course, I wanted all those too, but that's just because we like video games.
Wow, I not to derail you, but wow, MK Ultra, where have I been? Jesus,
I was gonna say it's not exactly. Oh god,
I genuinely thought that I thought that was like a Mortal Kombat sequel.
It should be.
God, this sounds like
Mortal Kombat Ultra. Is that what it stands for?
Well, it sounds like the plot to one of Rockstar Games' hidden gems, Manhunt 2. It basically has.
Yeah.
Now that I'm reading the Wikipedia synopsis of what MK Ultra was, this was Manhunt 2.
Dude, that's a whole rabbit hole. We could spend an episode going down an MK Ultra rabbit hole, dude. Jesus Christ, they make documentaries about that stuff.
This sounds like something you would bring up when interviewing a celebrity.
Listen, that's how you get them off guard. I'm telling you. Nobody wants to, they want to plug their show or whatever, but nobody thinks that Gaston is the hero. But I will tell you otherwise.
Dude, you got that lady, God rest her soul, man. You got her attention when you started talking about that. Oh, I don't remember her name. I'm sorry. It was a name. Mira Furlan. That was her name.
There we go.
Yeah, from Babylon 5. I'm just over here did I pronounce your name right? And then you jump in and save the interview 10 seconds in with your conspiracy theories, and that got her going. So that was she was nice. She was a nice lady. Okay. Well, when I think of commercials from the 90s, I think of this one, and when you hear this, you're probably gonna be like, go fuck yourself. But when I think of commercials from the 90s, I think of this.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Says tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday? Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You call now.
I'll call now.
So what's the paper say about tomorrow?
Another scorcher.
Cool.
Yes. That is 100%. I didn't even need to see it. I picture it. It's in my brain still. Like the vision comes through. Sweaty dude with his little newspaper. The lady coming over and being like, "Why didn't you call yesterday, you fat fuck?"
Which is funny you say that because the lady in that commercial just like appeared on Reddit one day responding to a thread about that commercial. Like she created an account just to chime in on it.
That's awesome.
And she revealed she was 3 months pregnant when they were filming it.
All the more reason to want AC.
And now knowing that, I went back and watched the commercial. Yeah, she's pregnant. It never dawned on me how misshapen she looked. And it's because she's trying. They purposely put baggy clothes on her.
I seem to remember a glass of orange juice.
Yeah, they
like
were
that typical like breakfast, like
they were sitting at the breakfast table. Yeah, and it was in the morning, and it's 1,000,000 degrees out, and she's wearing a tank top, but it's like 4 sizes too big, and it's to cover up the
bump,
pregnant
of course.
belly. Yeah, Monica Zaffarano was her name.
Nice.
Is her name? She's still alive. She is not an actor. I think she's a film producer now. But someone had posted on the commercials subreddit actors' names from 90s Sears home air conditioning commercial in parentheses. I'll call now. And she created an account just to respond, and it only got 1 fucking upvote.
What?
She created an account. Just respond with, "Here I am. This has been hysterical to see this unearthed. You'll watch now."
Oh man, dude, Sears was like the Amazon of the day too. The Sears catalog, you could order anything out of there as long as you're willing to wait for the mail.
Yeah, and look at Sears now.
I think they still have like some tire places open somewhere, right?
Go find a Sears. Go find a Sears near us.
The one near the one near the Auburn Mall doesn't exist
Nope.
still. Dude, that was like one of like the oldest running ones. It was like just like a tire repair center. It did nothing but tires.
Oh, and when that closed, it became a COVID testing center.
Really? Oh,
It was immediately repurposed. When the mass vax sites were open, my 2 initial shots were done inside a former Sears
Nice.
at the Natick Mall.
May as well use up all that space.
Every Sears within our area is gone. They've all closed. Sears is owned by Sears and Kmart. The CEO, it's the same guy, like, because they're both under the same umbrella, and that guy is the reason why they're all closing, because he just like became CEO and just like orchestrated the merger of the 2 companies and is just doing everything he can to watch them die a slow, painful death.
Oh yeah, no, I mean people do that, man. They just milk thing. CEO comes in specifically with the idea of dismantling and milking what little money they can, liquidating the assets and getting any and all returns, just because they don't even want to like try to save the company.
Right. So this commercial aired during a time where if you needed a home air conditioning unit, just go to Sears. You can get it at Sears. Because that's still during a time when Sears was that big.
But you said you'd call yesterday.
I'll call now. So she responds. So she first chimes in, and I guess she was asked a bunch of questions because then she just left a giant wall of text to Monica Zaffarano. But that's when she also explained that she was pregnant when they filmed. Oh no, she was 5 months pregnant. Okay. Oh, you're showing. You're absolutely showing at that point. So
they should have just like put that as like part of the commercial. Like, yeah, give you the mom belly rubs or whatever. Like,
problem is
just played that off.
She said she doesn't remember who played the husband.
But he was going to call now.
What's funny is she doesn't remember his name, but they would get booked for roles together. You think if you're working with each other multiple times, you'd at least remember their name.
Business is business, bro. Ain't got no time.
So, so anyway, that commercial. By the way, that commercial. If you have no idea what the hell this commercial is, I'll play it again.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Says tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday. Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You call now.
I'll call now.
So what's the paper say about tomorrow?
Another scorcher.
Cool.
The laugh track.
Yeah,
was that like a precursor to like, hey, the world's getting hotter?
Oh, they were calling,
Yesterday-
yeah. In 1996, they were predicting that by 2022 there would be a major climate emergency happening.
But I don't know if they're necessarily wrong.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, in 1996 there was probably a climate emergency happening,
and like opened up new problems.
So his commercial was for Sears. It was for Sears home air conditioning, where they would actually send out, a whole like installation team, and I think it was through like Kenmore or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. Kenmore was their brand. Well, I don't know if it was their brand, but they were definitely partners.
Yeah. Well, they had like Craftsman too, wasn't that their tool brand?
Yeah, that was a Sears brand, and that's still.
They're still around.
Craftsman's definitely still around, but
Ken-
it's not owned by Sears anymore, right?
Yeah, Kenmore. Yeah, it's not owned by them. Kenmore. All my appliances are Kenmore's. Now they were installed when my house was built in 2009, when Sears was still very much like it was. You're starting to go on its way out, but it was still like people were still using it for stuff. Right. I'll tell you this: I had to get my dishwasher checked out, and like Sears still has a repair number. Like you can call that up and they'll send someone out. So they're contracting it, but it's still through Sears. So
right,
I mean that much is convenient, but
that's pretty crazy actually. They still have technicians, even contracted ones. Like, and they didn't just like make that number defunct.
Yeah, I enjoyed paying $100 for him to tell me that there's just a buildup of soap. Then all I need to do is run a few cycles and I'd be fine.
Nice.
So the commercial aired. It aired for a long time. It didn't just air in the 90s. It stopped airing in like 2003, maybe 2004. It got to a point when anytime I see it on TV, I'd be like, "This is from the 90s. Why is this still airing?"
In like 4:3 resolution, blurry.
They would
the TVs of the time.
I think they would update the phone number, maybe like minutia in the commercial, but not necessarily update the content. There is a second version that they made, and it was just not as memorable.
Right. I wonder if they got paid per like airing, or if it was just a lump sum. Probably it's a lump sum, right?
It's in those cases, it's almost always a lump sum. Unless you're like part of a union like SAG-AFTRA, where you can get residuals from it. I guess it depends, because I've heard stories about people who get royalty checks every time a commercial airs. I guess it just depends on what it is. I was shaking my head in confidence, and then now it just dawned on me. I heard on the Men's Room a few weeks ago, there was a guy who filmed like he was like a bit actor in a commercial, and then he was getting like a check every week for his role. So I guess it depends. I know if you're like, it's been a famous case with like video game voice actors that they don't get residuals. So
right.
Anyway, so I bring this whole thing up because there's a voice actor. Good segue. A voice actor who goes by on YouTube ProZD. His name is SungWon Cho, and he's a very accomplished voice actor. He looks like he's 16 years old, but he's actually 31.
Nice. Oh, nice.
He played.
Some people got that skin.
He played Flack in Borderlands 3. He was Johnny in OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. He was on Genlock, which is a very good show. And I will fight anyone. That is the hill I will die on, that Genlock is a good show. He is going to be in God of War Ragnarok.
Nice.
He was in Lost Judgment. He's been in a lot of things, but he also has a YouTube channel where he likes to do fun things on YouTube. So here's a fun thing he did on YouTube.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Well, the paper says tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday? Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You'll call now.
I'll call now.
Damn, the tone in that one's a little darker. Someone's getting the belt again if you don't call Sears.
So it's funny you say that. So that one is labeled dramatic reading.
Okay.
In fact, he did 4 different versions of the Sears commercial, playing playing both roles.
What good portfolio material that is. That's great.
So that was version number 1. That was the dramatic reading version. Version number 2, the evil vizier and the prince. Here we go.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
The seer foretold tomorrow would be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday? Yesterday, you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You'll call now.
I'll call now.
Wow. That was pretty good.
He's got a resume on him, man. He's a really good actor. The voice acting. When I first see this, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, well, this guy can do voices. This guy's got some chops on him.
Yeah, seriously.
And then I find out later,
the accent's good.
Yeah, no shit. He's like legitimately an accomplished voice actor. Here's number 3, titled "Comic Book Villain." Here we go.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday, you said you'd call Sears!
I'll call today.
You'll call now.
I'll call now.
Wow. All right. Well, that one just took up the first one. The first one's mantle of sinister. Holy crap.
Honestly, man, I think that's probably the closest you'll get to the original commercial. for the side of it who was supposed to make the phone call is now cowering in fear because they didn't do it.
That's what you get.
Monica was going to kick that dude's ass for not calling Sears. Like,
it's another scorcher, man.
She would beat him to within an inch of his life. And if he did not emit a hearty chuckle when she made her little crack at the very end, cool. If he didn't laugh at that, she would have killed him.
Oh yeah, 100%.
She would have picked up the butter knife from the breakfast table.
That's a savage way to go, man. Those things are not sharp.
And she would have slathered some "I can't believe it's not butter" on it.
Oh gosh.
And then she would have just shoved it right down his throat. And she would have shoved it so far that her fist, still gripping the butter knife, covered in "I can't believe it's not butter," would come right out of his rectum. And
well lubricated.
And she would still have a big smile on her face because the kitchen would be a cool 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The last version here is titled... Oh, I'll just play it for you. Here we go.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Says tomorrow is going to be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday? Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You'll call now.
I'll call now.
Damn it, I want pictures of Spider-Man.
That's my favorite. Awesome. That's my favorite one. I titled it "Old Timey."
That's super awesome.
I like how it's even got like the old film crack in the background.
Yes, classic.
And there was just something about like you saw it through maybe the 60s, the early 60s, where presenters and actors, like male presenters, I guess the females too, all had a certain sound to their voice, a certain delivery.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see?
Well, who says tomorrow's going to be hotter?
Yeah. That's how they, I love old-timey voices. That's how they used to sound. And this dude nailed it perfectly. So
still making fun of us in like 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, look at how these fools talked. I don't know how they actually talked in 50 years. He'll just talk in emojis.
I don't know. I mean,
literally speak emojis.
Yeah, the kids these days have a language of their own, and it's starting to hit a point where I don't understand it. I've become familiar with it from two sources: a sketch from Saturday Night Live called Gen Z Hospital featuring Elon Musk, and then the subreddit Fellow Kids.
How do you do, fellow kids?
So anyway, check him out on YouTube. ProZD SungWon Cho. Oh God, make sure I pronounce his name correctly, else I'll be canceled. SungWon Cho.
Nice.
And like I said, don't be fooled by his appearance. he's actually an adult. And he's in his 30s. This is a grown ass
elixir of immortality.
This is a grown ass man with an incredibly attractive wife.
Doesn't want to pronounce the name wrong, or he might get canceled. Goes off and talks about the guy's wife.
Look, all I said is that she's attractive. I didn't say that. Go over here.
Oh, goodness.
Over here setting me up. What's wrong with you?
Booby pictures?
What do you think? I'm trying to go out and host Jeopardy here? Do you think I have career aspirations?
Booth hoe.
Possibly.
Booth slut.
Anyhow.
If you could host Jeopardy, you would. Don't even lie to me.
Yeah, because you don't actually need to know anything. You just need to be able to present and keep the peace.
Yep.
They just happen, the two rotating hosts right now just happen to either be brain surgeons or actually know everything. But Alex Trebek didn't know everything.
Nope.
Mike Richards, the only thing he knew how to be was a creep.
Booby pictures?
So I don't know. I know like Ken Jennings has a history behind him. I like him. I always
the history of like winning the most on Jeopardy ever.
Oh yeah. Okay. So he won a lot of money. And then he came there. There's two people that have more recently come very close to beating him if they didn't actually do it. One was a lady, and there's the other one was that really weird guy whose name I can't remember. But they're like, you know, they'll go down in the history books as the top three contestants in the history of the show. But even like well before Trebek passed away, people were saying Ken Jennings, like, give him the title when Alex retires, moves on, what have you. Give it to Ken Jennings. And they did, but it's only because Mike Richards went and just blew it all up for himself.
Booth hoe.
So now that's how we got Jennings. But just like everybody does, Jennings had posted some shit on Twitter like 15 years ago.
It'll come back to you nowadays.
There was a sports writer recently who posted a lot of shit that, like, you probably shouldn't have posted in 2010, but it was definitely like, I think he was like a teenager, or maybe like, you know, he had been like 18 or 19 years old and like thought he was being funny. And he just never deleted any of it.
As most angsty kids do.
I'll tell you this. There are services you can use that will go through your Twitter account and scrub it clean, short of deleting the entire account. And this guy just didn't do it.
I recommend deleting the entire account.
Yeah, that is a really good
Free
idea.
your soul.
Yeah.
Free your soul.
That's a really good idea.
Dude, Elon Musk is going to require the Neuralink in order to sign into Twitter soon, man. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's my tinfoil hat theory. That's not going to come true, but I'm saying it anyway.
I don't know why I'm failing at finding any information on this guy.
He's a ghost. Maybe he did use the scrubber.
Maybe everything I just said was made up.
Everything on the show is made up.
Let me throw in the golden word here. Canceled. Let's see if that brings something up. Well, it brought up some people, but not the guy I'm looking for. Okay, anyway. Anyway. All right, let's do this. We'll regroup. We'll come back. We'll talk about the NFT.
All right.
Snafu, the NFT conundrum, the NFT hubbub, the NFT argle bargle.
For anyone that doesn't know, NFT stands for near field teleportation. Very Star Trek.
I thought it stood for no fucks. Thanks. All right. Well, with that disaster, we'll be back.
This is Hardly Focused.
Oh, Mike, do you have a fun story? The first time you ever bought condoms?
No, because I literally went in and bought condoms.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's a brave man right there.
I was like, I'm going to have some sex. I'm buying condoms. Thank you very much.